Good morning, all of you. As the head of the Department of Hinducivilization at the Sri Lankan University of Jaffna, which is the only university in the world with a separate department for Hindu civilization, I deem it a privilege and honor to have a golden opportunity like this to address you all who are participating in this wonderful conference. In the first instance, I bow down and cherish at the divine feet of Swami Vivekananda, who through his silver-tongued oration established the richness and grandeur of the Hindu religion at his famous Chicago address in 1893. Dr. Radhakrishnan also emphasizes that the ideal of unselfish service of humanity is the only absolute moral rule which ought never to be broken. In this context, I also offer my salutations to the Ramakrishna Mission, which to date through its institutions in every nook and corner of the world echoes the lion like the roaring of the great sage of this era. I also like to express my sincere gratitude to the Chief Incumbent Swami of Colombo Ramakrishna Mission for his kind gesture in bestowing this precious opportunity upon me. Hinduism is more than a religion. It's a way of life and a code of behavior. This is reflected in term Hindus used to describe the Hindu religion, Sanatana Dharma, which means eternal faith or the eternal way things are. It has exerted a profound influence over a large part of Asia. Many great and ancient civilizations in the continental and insular parts of Southeast Asia were inspired by its traditions, especially in the fields of religious beliefs, schools of philosophies, literature, art, architecture, mathematics, medicine, astronomy, and constructional activities. An important characteristic of Hinduism is tolerance. In the Hindu society, tolerance and liberalism are found for all religions, caste, communities, etc. Many foreign cultures invaded and Hindu society gave every culture the opportunity of prospering. Hinduism accepts manifoldness of reality and assimilates plurality of viewpoints, customs, and institutions. It does not try to suppress diversity in favor of uniformity. The motto of Hinduism is both unities in diversity as well as diversity in unity. The achievements of Hindus in metaphysical thoughts, literature, aesthetics, political theory, and art and architecture are almost unique. Among the sources of the Hindu tradition, the Vedas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Arthashastra of Kaudilya are incomparable in the whole range of world literature of the pre-modern era. They were studied with deep appreciations by leading scholars even in Europe, America, and Japan since the 19th century. The Hindu tradition as epitomized in literature was not an exclusive monopoly for the elite. It had a profound influence in molding and inspiring the life, thought, the ideas of the masses of people. At this juncture, I would like to share some thoughts related to Hinduism and its impacts on scientific heritage. There has been a historical trend in which the Greeks were considered to be the pioneers in the fields of mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and chemistry. Of course, there had been instances where Persians and Arabs also have had a place for themselves. Hinduism, one of the oldest religions of the world, has made its contribution to the history of the world science. Its role, particularly in the fields of geometry, trigonometry, arithmetic, astronomy, atomics, and medicine, has been very dominant. The role of Hinduism has been considered to have had its pioneer effects on such matters like the Pythagoras theory, multiple decimal patterns of tens, mathematical rules related to the zero, the value of pi, atomic theories, etc. The methods of solving indeterminate equation known as Diophantine, the reasons for the occurrence of the eclipse, and so on. These can also be proved on the basis of historical evidences. However, it is very unfortunate that the history of global science does not contain clear information on the role of Hinduism. To the contrary, a number of scientific truths have been twisted and misinformed as to have been derived from Greek, Persian, or Arabic civilizations. The ancient Hindus also developed a sophisticated system of medicine with its mind-body approach known as Ayurveda. Detailed anatomical and surgical knowledge of the human body, including cataract surgery and the so-called plastic surgery. Ayurveda developed through two main schools of thoughts known as Atreya school of thoughts and the Dhanvantari school of thought. The age-old treatise Sushruta Samhita helps tremendously in gathering information about surgery. This is an Ayurvedic treatise belonging to the Dhanvantari school of thought. Geographically, their origin appears to have been centered around North India. In South India, particularly in Tamil Nadu, the Siddha tradition developed on the basis of medical treatises presented by various sages. It is a truth unknown to many people that even before the basic principles behind Pythagoras theorem were ever known in the history of global science, the Hindu scientists of ancient days known about this theory and had applied it. In the Hindu heritage, the treatise known as Sulva Sutras appeared during the period of 800 BC, identified as belonging to the Vedic heritage. These sutras define the ways and means to conduct sacrificial process. The root word sulpa or sulva is so interpreted as to mean a rope measuring determination. In this regard, rope was used as the main instrument to measure and construct the sacrificial altars in various geometrical forms. Complex forms as that of the eagle, lotus, etc. had to be constructed by joining circular, square and rectangular and the triangular structures, and there was also the need to construct them in equal extents. The method of writing numbers in decimal patterns had also been known to people of Vedic times. The figures of numerals and the ways of writing them in decimal patterns have been handled in the Bhakshali manuscript found in the barks of eucalyptus trees belonging to the 2nd century BC. Today, it is wrong to mention numerals as Arabian or Hindu-Arabian numerals. Instead, it's more apt to call them Hindu numerals, because many ancient Hindu mathematical works had been translated into Persian and Arabic languages. Through them, When these were translated into Latin, the Western world came to know, recognize them as of Arabian origin. Dr. MacDonald, who understood this truth, says, during the 8th and 9th centuries, the Hindus became the teachers in arithmetic and algebra of the Arabs, and through them of the nations of the West. Thus, though we call the later science by an Arab name, it's a gift we owe to India. The earliest mention of the concept of the atom dates back to India. A couple of popular schools of thought dating back to the 6th century BC developed theories about how atoms combine to form more complex objects. Reference to atoms in the West emerged about a century later. In the world arena, Greek philosophers are considered to be the first in recognizing atom as a primordial element of the universe. In the Hindu heritage, the cosmic dance of Nataraj is supposed to indicate the movements or motions of atoms. In ancient India, atomic theory has been dealt with not only in Vedic scriptures but also in non-Vedic treatises. However, Vaisheshika stands all of as the primordial philosophical policy or the school of philosophy that ever spoke about atomic theory. Ganada's Vaisheshika Sutra argues that only atoms are causal to the existence, motion and the final dissolution of the universe. The evolution and transformation of the universe are all due to the motion of the atoms. The universe always keeps on changing due to the atoms, which are in eternal motion. Creation and destruction are thus effected by the transition of atoms. These atoms combine in dyads and triads of equal nature and form the material elements. So I shall conclude, if there is thousands of religions in the world, a Hindu bows down them to all. Thus, in collaboration with Hinduism, as a Hindu, I wish let there be peace and harmony in the world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.